We're here to talk about the For Life ministry, the people of life and for life. Typically, when we think about the For Life, for life or pro life, we think about like rallies or anti-abortion or contraception or anti-homosexuality. But the For Life ministry in our diocese tries to protect, 3 is love, and 4 is serve. This vision comes from Evangelium Vitae, which is an encyclical written by the late Saint Pope John Paul II. For Life Ministry is a pro-life initiative of Jesus Youth, but it cooperates with the Syro-Malabar Catholic Diocese of Chicago and the Syro-Malankara Exarchy. Through its initiatives, the ministry aims to reach out to the families and youth and prepare them to defend the sanctity of life at all stages. So a little bit of history of the For Life ministry. So from 2009 to 2012, Jesus Youth gathered every year and participated in the March for Life. This March for Life took place in Washington, D.C. A little bit about the March for Life. Every year, on the anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the United States Supreme Court case abortion. Every year since then, Christians and pro-life advocates will gather together in Washington D.C. and march or march for life, and they'd march around the Capitol building as well as the Supreme Court. And the participants that march are generally praying. They'll have signs and slogans to really bring to light the issue of abortion and help really advocate for This has happened since 1973. 1973, Wade, had the decision that legalized abortion, and so every year since then, hundreds of thousands of people have been gathering for this march. So from 2009 to 2012, Jesus Youth has been participating in the March for Life, and in 2012, the diocese began to have more of a decided to get more involved in the March for Life and the other associated events. And so, what the diocese decided to do was they wanted to take this pro-life initiative a step forward. And so, rather than simply going to the march, the diocese, in union with Jesus Youth, wanted to have a national conference to really make known the various issues of life. And so here's in 2012, this is when the For Life ministry really began. And in 2012, a group of people from across the country gathered to just kind of pray and discern and to discuss, what the For Life ministry would be like, or what would be all about, or what would be the vision and mission and purpose of it. And so, following this gathering, the For Life ministry celebrated in the 2013 March for Life. This is a picture of the march. Following the march, that following weekend, the For Life ministry hosted a For Life conference. This conference took place in Syro-Malabar Mission in Northern Virginia. And here's a picture of the first National For Life gathering. After this first National For Life gathering, the For Life ministry gathered together young professionals from across the country in Jesus Youth and diocesan circles, just to discuss the medical ethics and other life issues that healthcare professionals specifically face. And this also gathered other leaders in the For Life ministry, and they talked about various life issues, medical ethics issues, as well as um, planning and preparing for the next national conference. And so this is a picture of the 2014 For Life National Conference. In this conference, Bishop Bosco Pathur from Melbourne, Australia, the newly established Syro-Malabar Diocese there, was present for the For Life National Gathering. And in this gathering, various topics were discussed, specifically on the youth side. On both sides, on the adult side as well as the youth side, topics such as authentic manhood, authentic femininity, emotional chastity, parenting, natural family planning, how to be people of life and for life, the gospel of life. All these various issues were discussed, and small group discussions were formed to really bring a deeper understanding and a sharing on these various issues. So following this gathering, here's another picture of the march. This is in 2014. As you can see, it was a pretty cold day in December. But in this march, actually in the 2013 march, there were over 600,000 people that were participating in the actual march. Because of the weather here in 2014, the numbers weren't not as big. I believe it was around 300,000 people participating in the actual march. And what's really unique about the march is that a significant number of the participants are youth. Dioceses from various dioceses, Latin dioceses from across the country, take youth in buses and travel here for the march. Buses from, I remember the last march, there were buses from Denver, there were buses from 4 or 5 buses from Boston, buses from Texas, all gathering together to really to celebrate life and to value, defend, protect, and cherish life. Another thing that our diocese did last year is after the March for Life and the National Conference, the Syro-Malabar Diocese celebrated Life Sunday in almost every parish and mission across the country. And during Life Sunday, there were various exhibitions, seminars, video presentations, pro-life competitions, various activities to help people better understand the issues that surround life, as well as just bring about a greater awareness and really develop an attitude that really should celebrate life. Yeah, and so we hope actually to do this again this year in 2015 after the March and the National Conference. Another thing the For Life Ministry that has undertook in this past year is webinars. Various webinars, if you go into, which I'll show a link later, have been conducted, and recordings are uploaded on the For Life website. Such topics include The Joy of Life, which was presented by Vinod Achin. Catholic Parenting was presented by Sibi Chetan and Rennie Chechi in South Jersey. Theology of the Body was presented by Binu from Chicago. Forming Middle Schoolers was presented by Josh Chetan from Chicago. Catholic Manhood was presented by Anup Chetan from Texas. Family Planning was presented by Sindhu Chechi from Tampa. And recently, a question and answer session on commonly asked questions was presented by Jomi Mathapara in Northern Virginia. And so there are various webinars that have been taking place in the last year, and we certainly like to have more people involved. If there are any topics or anything of interest that you might have, please contact someone in the For Life Ministry so that a webinar series can be conducted. Another thing that the For Life Ministry undertook in this in the 2014 year is we wanted to take the national conference that happens in January to other regions that are farther away from Washington D.C. And so For Life conferences were conducted in Santa Ana in June of 2014 and in Houston in July of 2014. And 100 adults, Houston, there was about 100 youth and probably about 100, 150 adults. And so it was a really blessed opportunity to gather many people in our church to meditate and think about the various issues of life. The For Life Ministry has a regular intercession every Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. And down below is the conference call number and the passcode. So if anyone's interested in praying with the For Life Ministry, praying for life, and all the different initiatives and the intentions of the For Life Ministry, please join. You can see on the bottom there is a link to the website, www.4life.jesusyouth.org. And so the ultimate vision or the ultimate plan for the For Life Ministry is to build up a center for life in each parish and mission across the country. The Center for Life is the coordinating body within a parish and mission, which animates pro-life activities in the community. Constituted by pro-life families, the center will provide factual information, moral teaching, and motivation to young people on various life issues. They will also reach out to families, provide support, especially with difficult end-of-life decisions. So some of the things that that the Center for Life will offer includes theology of the body training, premarital and premarital guidance, counseling, premarital prep classes, different ways of parenting, understanding the cultural and the generation gaps. Also, really providing social and emotional support for elders, for like our amachis and apachins, our grandparents, as well as various retreats and conferences, young couples ministry, really in an effort to build up the family and to bring awareness to life and to protect and defend life. And so with all these things that the Center for Life desires to do, the family apostolate, which is being led by Father Paul Chaliseri in the Curia, he's in the process of developing this family ministry, and the family ministry will work with the Center for Life in each of the parish missions to really meet the needs of young couples and young families. The family ministry is really in its initial stages of development, but as the For Life ministry continues to move forward in a grassroots effort, the family apostolate is going to provide the structure and the diocesan support for this ministry to really have fruit and really be able to serve um, all the communities, all the parish missions in our diocese. DYA, beginning it's with the that recently happened and the young adult and the young couple ministry that is forming in DYA. It's crucial. It's very important that this young adult and young couple ministry through DYA works with the For Life ministry and the family apostolate. Remember the DYA working style. That's kind of the other. We have regional team, national team, parish and mission. We have Bishop and Vinodachan in the middle, and then we have the other ministries and other initiatives in our church. And so, rather than duplicating efforts, it would be very wise for DYA to really get involved in these developing ministries, really get involved now, so that in the future, when the Center for Life are like fully established in each parish and mission, and the family apostolate has its structure, DYA will have an active and fruitful role and complement these different ministries in the diocese. And so with that said, in 2015, we are having the National For Life. We're having the March for Life and the National For Life Conference. So a little bit about the events that are happening this in 2015. On Wednesday, January 21st, is a vigil mass, a national prayer vigil for life. This takes place at the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C. This church is the biggest Catholic church in the country. It seats over 3,500 people. An absolutely beautiful church. And in the past, Vinodachan has consolidated this vigil mass, and they participate as altar servers. Filled with young people, and it's really to pray and to celebrate life. Typically, the Bishop O'Malley, who is the leader of For Life initiatives in the United States Catholic Conference of Bishops, he celebrates the mass and gives the homiletic message. On Thursday, the 22nd, in the morning, there is a Mass for Life and Rally for Life. This takes place in the Verizon Center, which seats over 16,000 people. And so everyone that's going to participate in the march generally goes to this rally if they have tickets. This is does require tickets. We celebrate Mass as well as really just kind of get pumped up and get excited about the march. And so then after the Mass for Life and the Rally for Life, everyone files out of the Verizon Center and heads over to the mall, or the central part of Washington, D.C., where the march begins. Then on Friday to Sunday, the 23rd to the 25th, is the National For Life Conference. 23rd is a day of prayer where all the attendees, it's a travel day for those who can't make it to the march. But for those who can make it for the march and stay, it's a day of prayer, and it's in preparation for the National For Life Conference, which takes place on the 24th and the 25th, Saturday and Sunday. Bishop Puthur, he will be there at the conference again this year. And some of the topics that will be discussed at the National For Life Conference include family as the sanctuary of life, forming or building future generations, creating the future being our children or even youth itself, building holy families, engaging the culture as individuals, and engaging the culture as families, as well as mom, dad, and me, mom, dad, and I, building up and understanding, building up the relationship between parents and children, understanding really the cultural and the generational gaps that that parents experience and that the youth experience. www.4life.jesusyouth.org. Registration is $50 per youth, or per as long as you're in school, it's $50 per person. If you're out of school and you're single, it's $100. And then for adults, for families, it's $150 for the whole family, regardless of the size of the family. That's it. So that's kind of the a little bit of the vision of the 2015 National Conference. As I said, the topics this year are different than the topics last year, and the For Life Ministry plans to have different topics every year. And so as we journey in our faith and grow with the life of the church, the diocese, our bishops, Vinorachin, humbly requests everyone, as everyone in DYA to, especially the national and regional coordinators, to attend this conference and really walk with the church, really grow with the church in understanding what it means to be for life, and really preparing ourselves for our future vocations, whether it be family life or religious life or single life. Thank you again. And as I mentioned earlier, here's the link to the website, forlife.jesusyouth.org. The registration is open now, and it closes on December 31st. The reason why it closes at that time is because tickets need to be obtained for the Mass for Life and the Rally for Life that take place the morning of the march. And so we will not be able to for you. So please register before December 31st. It's not a diocesan imposed deadline. It's a deadline imposed by the March for Life coordinators in the Diocese of Washington, D.C. So please register so that we can secure a ticket, and so that you can attend the March for Life, the Rally for Life, the actual march, and as well as the national conference. Thank you. God bless.